The next thing I wanted to discuss is how to study. And each course requires a different way of studying. And I remember my first term of undergraduate degree doing a Bachelor of Science. I did not know how to study for each topic. I was so lost. I don't think high school really prepares you. You don't really know what to expect. And the way I studied for high school, it doesn't apply to university, and sometimes it does. But you need to be able to understand how to study for each subject. And that's where, again, mentors are very important to come into play. I think the first thing that helped me, and I would really recommend this, is getting a hold of practice examinations, previous examination. I know not all courses do this, but having a previous examination gives you an idea of what they're going to ask, what's important to what you should be studying. The second thing I would do is really use your resources. You need to find out where the math resource center is, the biology resource center is. Now, most colleges, they should have, like the big colleges especially, have some sort of tutor system where you get a free private tutor, a free tutor or a group tutor. And especially with office hours, you need to go in with questions. So I try and do my work beforehand and go into office hours with specific problem question or case questions to go into with. Because you got to make good use of that time. And sometimes I just sit in office hours and listen to other people talk about their questions, because then you can learn from that as well. Occasionally would get a private tutor, and a private tutor would only be required if I really did understand something. Now, when it comes to figuring out how to study for each subject, some of them are just pure memorization. And pure memorization courses are usually biology courses. You basically have to use Anki cards. You can ask ChatGPT to make flashcards for you. The more time you put into memorizing, the better grade you'll get. Very simple. The question is, how do you do it efficiently? And efficiently is to do flashcards. Efficiently is to take notes on it and then test yourself by active recall. And studies have shown that the best way to study by memorization is by doing active recall. Active recall basically means pulling that memory from your long-term memory into your working memory. For things like physics and math, you have to really do practice questions. It's all about doing practice questions, making your own practice questions, solving other people's practice questions, doing practice exams. Chemistry is a mix of biology and math in terms of how you study. You need to memorize things. You have to memorize how many, protons or neutrons. You have to remember the symbols of each. The other 50% is going to be actually doing the practice questions, because you need to apply the knowledge that you've gotten. So one thing that I found in my first year of medical school, it's actually when I started studying for the MCAT, that actually started timing how much time do I have for each page, because it was the first time in university we actually started to run out of time on exams. And I think it's actually a big issue for a lot of people coming from high school to undergrad, is being able to finish the exam on time. And I'd do that actually in the exam as well. I'd be like, okay, there are 40 questions in my exam. I have an hour to write this exam, so that gives me, a minute and 30 seconds for each question. But basically that's what I did, because if you didn't do that and you were not used to taking university exams, you end up incredibly behind. Other tips for studying is really hang out with the right people. And when I say hang out with the right people, hang out with those that get good grades, or at least work hard, because you become the average of the people you hang around with. The fact that they're studying will influence you to study harder. And bonus is that if they're willing to help you, you can ask them questions. If you can help them, even better. Because the idea is that you want to be able to help them as well as they can help you. Make sure you hang around with people who are academically strong.